ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामी ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी चारिणे विशेष पाश्चात्य मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you. This very auspicious day of Shri Sharad Purnima, which is also known as the Sharadiya Rasa Yatra, or the day when the Lord performed his Ras Leela. There are two times in the year when the Lord performs his Ras Leela. One is in the Vasanta season, the spring season, and one is in the autumn season, the Sharad season. So today's Tithi is actually the one in the Sharad season, which is the most prominent festival of devotion in Braj. In fact, it is considered the most significant of the pastimes of the Lord from a spiritual, esoteric perspective. It's a very, very high subject. So what we are going to do is to honor this beautiful occasion. We will speak sometime on the occasion of Sharad Purnima. And after that, we will speak a little bit about the upcoming month of Damodar, Kartik. And we will conclude with a few minutes about the program tomorrow, where we are attempting to make a world record for the maximum number of devotees coming together to celebrate the Diwali Damodar festival. So we are hoping, as I have been publishing, I'm really hoping that all of you will come forward to assist in this endeavor for the pleasure of the Lord and the devotees. It's also the first day, the Pratipad of the month. Today is the Purnima. Today is the last day of the previous month. And it's a very wonderful opportunity when devotees come together to do something wonderful for the pleasure of the Lord and the devotees. It will be very nice. And we'll discuss a bit more about it a little later, probably towards the end of the class. So that is the plan. So we will not be discussing our regular Srimad Bhagavatam discussion today, given the special nature of the day. And instead, we will be devoting the discussion to what I just mentioned. Yeah, so just to clarify that. So that is why you can see my background is also not as usual. You can see my background. There is the beautiful full moon of the Sharad season. So something about today's night. Uh, of course, there are two seasons which are considered especially beautiful: the spring and the autumn. Of course, each of these seasons have their own beauty, but somehow autumn, I'm assuming probably because of the nature of the weather, the evening in autumn is considered very pleasing, because usually in autumn, because the rains have just subsided, and usually autumn is defined by clear skies, very beautiful starry moonlit nights. The bodies of water are also very crystal clear. Generally, a very cool weather. It's very, very beautiful. In a mundane way, one can say it's a very romantic atmosphere in the evening. And it is said in the Sharad season, which is the current period, this particular tithi of today, this Purnima tithi of today, the full moon, is considered the most beautiful night of the whole year. So in cities, we are so busy that we don't even realize which nights are beautiful, which are not. But for your kind information, today's night is considered the most beautiful night of the year. I was just outside for a few minutes some time ago, and I was looking around to see the moon. So far, I haven't found him, probably because it's very clouded here in Kuala Lumpur. Maybe I'll go out and look again. Because actually, somehow for us here, we don't have a clear autumn season in a distinct way, being more equatorial. Yeah, in India, it is more clearly seen as an autumn season. Of course, nowadays, because of various reasons, the seasons are also getting. There have been rains even up to a week ago in India, in a few parts, but nonetheless. So this night of the Sharad season, today's Tithi, which is the end of the third month of the Chaturmasya and the beginning of the Kartik month. Kartik Pratipada is tomorrow. Is considered the most beautiful night. And Lord Krishna in Braj, on this beautiful night in Braj, when he saw the beautiful night, when he saw the moon, when he saw the forest of Vrindavan, he said, "Oh, this is just so perfect. There isn't anything more beautiful than this. So, this is the perfect time for me to reciprocate with the greatest of my devotees." Who are the greatest of the devotees? The gopis of Braj, who are totally sold out to Krishna. They love Krishna like anything. So, what did the Lord do? With a desire to associate with the gopis and to give pleasure to these greatest devotees and to fulfill their hearts' innermost desires, the Lord came in the night. He went to the bank of the Yamuna and he stood under the Bamsi Vata tree. And standing under the Vamsi Vata tree, the place is still there. There's a nice temple there. Under the Bamsi Vata tree, Krishna stood with his threefold bending form. His form bent in three places with his legs crossed over each other. The two hands holding the flute. It's in this direction. Yeah. So, standing like that, the Lord looking at the beautiful atmosphere, remembering the gopis with his heart full of extreme love for his devotees. The devotees love the Lord, and the Lord also loves his devotees like anything. We cannot imagine how much the Lord loves his devotees. The Lord's capacity to love is also unlimited. course, the gopis' capacity to love is also not measurable. Of course, the Lord is the supreme whole, and Radharani is the supreme reservoir of that love. So all these gopis are especially blessed by Radharani to have overflowing love. So Krishna, with the full love of his heart, he blows into his flute. It is said he played the fifth note. Now, I do not know technically what the fifth note means, nor can I replicate it for you, so forgive me. I don't know how it sounds. But there's this particular fifth note where Vamshi Vata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastuna. What did Gopinath do? The Lord of the Gopis do? Took his flute and he played the fifth note by blowing into the flute. What did he blow? Not just air. He blew into the flute the love of his heart. And how much is that love? Unlimited. And as that love in the form of his blowing went into the flutes, very beautiful notes of love emerged from the flute. So beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. We cannot conceive, we cannot imagine. And they traveled all through the forests of Vraja. It was night time. That sound traveled to all the different homes of all the different gopis. It was so beautiful. Within that beautiful sound of the flute, Krishna has put his love. And within that love, there was a message. Even though Krishna was not singing, but there was a message which the gopis could decipher. What was that message? I am waiting for you here on the bank of the Jamuna at Vamsibhat. It was a coded message. Only the gopis could decode it. Because there was a password needed. What was the password? The password was the password of love. Those who had that love could tune into that frequency and understand the message, and they could understand. Krishna was calling them, come. So beautiful. Just see the moon. So beautiful. I am longing to be with all of you. Please come. When the gopis heard that beautiful sound of Krishna's flute, Krishna calling this very rarely happens, practically never happens. Krishna so explicitly calling them and saying, please come. But actually, in this situation, it was quite odd and it was quite awkward. Why? Because it was late in the night. There was no reason for the gopis to leave their homes and step out. But when the calling of the Lord comes, the devotee cannot resist. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. That give up all other principles of religion and just surrender to me. So gopis were so overwhelmed with the loving calling of Krishna because their life, their breath, their words, each and every atom of their body was so much dedicated to giving pleasure to Krishna and serving him at any cost that they didn't even think twice. They instantly decided, we are going. So some of the gopis, they were cooking in their homes, in their kitchen. As soon as they heard the flute and they got the message, they downloaded, they decoded, oh, Krishna is calling. Instantly, they didn't even bother to complete their cooking. Instantly, they ran out from their homes. Some gopis were serving meals to their family members. In the middle, they suddenly kept the pot down and ran away from the home. Rushed out. Some were getting dressed. And they had put kajal only in one eye. They had not yet completed putting kajal in the other. They didn't even wait to put kajal in the other. They just ran the way they were. Somewhere even in the middle of getting dressed, they were so much in a hurry to go to respond to Krishna's call. It is said they mixed up their garments. They wore the pieces of cloth which are supposed to be worn up, they worn them down, and the ones which are supposed to be worn down, they worn them up. I don't know how to imagine that, but something like that. And they rushed. So that's the calling. That is the kind of, attachment they had to the Lord. They rushed, and as they were rushing, many of them, their family members, they're saying, "Hey, where are you going?" What did they say? They didn't say anything. They didn't even wait to answer. They were in too much hurry. And some of them were so upset. They said, "If you go, we will never let you back home. This is too late. You cannot step out of the house." They didn't bother because they are fully dependent on Krishna. They were not so concerned about the consequence of their surrender to the Lord. There were some gopis, it is said in the scriptures, who were not as exalted as some of these gopis, who were forcibly locked into their homes. Their family members literally locked them, didn't allow them to go out. And they were hearing Krishna's flute and they were feeling such intense attraction to Krishna, but they were unable to go out. The scriptures say that their fire of separation from the Lord was so intense that whatever little material desires they had, these are those gopis who are not Nitya Siddhas, those who had appeared there in Golok, in Vrindavan, who were almost pure but not fully pure. There had some trace of material attachment. Everything was burned in the fire of separation. And some of them, they felt such intense separation that in that separation, they could feel Krishna's embrace. See, that is the beauty of bhakti. The beauty of bhakti is, in material life, we need to attain something to experience it. But in Krishna consciousness, even if we feel intense separation from Krishna, within that separation, one can feel very strongly Krishna's presence, Krishna's embrace, if we have enough love for him. Why? Because Krishna is non-different from his remembrance. Krishna is non-different from his name. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Nitya Shuddha Purna Mukta Abhinnatvam Nama Nami. No, Abhinnatvam, not different. This is the spiritual principle. That's why Lord Chaitanya always says it is so much safer for people like us to follow the example of the second category of the gopis who are not able to go to Ras Leela. Why? Because we are not yet ready to enter that space. For us, we still have to burn. So when we feel that intense separation from the Lord, that will burn all this contamination, the karma, the materialistic tendencies, and then we will become ready. It is said some of these gopis felt so much separation that they actually gave up their bodies. They died, so to say. And then their soul went and joined the Ras Leela, apparently. So within a few moments, the Lord purified them fully. It's so amazing what the Lord does. Very amazing. So difficult for us to conceive. Anyway, gopis from different directions all over Vraj, hearing Krishna's call, they all came to Bamsi Bhatt, where Krishna was standing. They came and they all came and stood around him, looking at him with such eagerness and such love. And Krishna is always very what is the word to use? Krishna is threefold bending. So Krishna is never straight in the way he speaks, in the way he interacts. He's crooked in three ways. So Krishna was speaking to them in a joking manner. He said, "Oh, gopis, why have you come here so late at night?" He pretended as if he did not call them. "So late. What are you all doing in the forest?" "Oh, maybe you may have come to see the Sharad moon. So beautiful, isn't it?" "Oh, in the forest of Braj, Vrindavan is so beautiful. I hope you have enjoyed it. Now that you have seen and enjoyed it, and now you have also seen me, I think it's enough now. Now I think, I will continue with my flute playing, but I think you should all go back home. He was teasing the gopis like that. Now, something interesting to mention at this point in time. See, we should understand, actually, we cannot understand, but let us at least try to intellectually understand a little bit. The attraction of the gopis for Krishna and the attraction of Krishna for the gopis has nothing to do with the attraction of a boy for a girl or for a girl for a boy in this material world. That's the first thing we should understand. We may not understand, but we should just accept that it is not. And the Bhagavatam emphasizes this very, very strongly. It says, this Ras Leela is actually so pure, so pure, so pure that those who are materially lusty people, by meditating on the Ras Leela, they can become free from all lust. That is the level of purity of the Ras Leela. Externally for us, because we can only associate certain things which are in the mode of passion, when a boy and a girl, in this world come together, so we may think of it like that, but actually it's a totally different thing. In fact, the Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the attraction between the gopis and the Lord by saying that just like iron and gold, they both look very similar, both are metals, look similar in the sense that both are metals, not look similar from an external perspective. They're both metals, but there is a vast difference in gold and iron. Similarly, the lust of the material world and the love of the gopis for Krishna may both seem like love at an external level, but there is a total qualitative difference between the two. And what is that difference? Atmendriya priti vancha tar bale kam. Krishnendriya priti vancha dhare premanam. That when the desire is to please one's own senses in a relationship, the desire is to please our own senses, that is called lust. That is what is there in the material world, right? Why do two people who say that they love each other so much go away? Because when they realize that they are not getting satisfaction to the extent that they wanted, then slowly the relationship starts becoming more and more distant. Eventually it separates. Because the prime consideration is one's own happiness. But Krishnendriya Priti Vancha Dhare Premnam. But the gopis' interest was never in their own pleasure. Their interest was always in giving pleasure to Krishna. So the material lust is like iron, but spiritual love is like gold. Because the desire is to give pleasure to Krishna. So the gopis who were standing in front of Krishna, they knew Krishna so well, they knew Krishna's heart. They had already decoded the flute message. They knew that actually Krishna wanted to dance with them. So even though Krishna was externally saying something, they just kept bowed their heads down, and they practically refused to go. They didn't say that, but they did not go. Some of them with their toes, they were making marks in the sand or the dust on the ground. So of course this is described in great detail. I think there are 5 odd chapters in the Bhagavatam which describes the Ras Leela in great detail. We are not going to go into all the details. I myself am not qualified. This subject matter is actually for the most highest liberated souls to discuss. But we will discuss at a high level some of the key points from where we can learn something which is relevant for us. So first is, what is the definition of love? That is what we just discussed. The love of the gopis for Krishna is the love where their exclusive concern is Krishna's pleasure. They didn't even know whether they will be accepted back home after leaving their homes, so-called abandoning their material duties and running off into the forest. Practically unheard of 5,000 years ago. Can you imagine a young girl doing that? It was like incomprehensible, but they did not think for one moment. Not because they wanted to enjoy for themselves, they knew that Krishna wanted their association. So they were there to please and serve Krishna in whatever way. And then the Lord obliged. There are some beautiful conversations which happened, but anyway, we do not have time to go into that. You can read in the Srimad Bhagavat, the 10th canto, the 5 chapters of the Ras Leela. A lot of beautiful conversations. Krishna tries to convince them. And then it is said, finally, the Lord obliges by actually beautifully engaging in wonderful divine pastimes of love, singing, dancing, sporting with the gopis. And Krishna is so wonderful, he's so beautiful, and he's so amazing. First of all, it was the most perfect evening. The bright moon, beautiful moonshine, the flowers and the fragrances in the forest of Vrindavan was the most perfect. The environment was so perfect, so perfect, so perfect that even Cupid would not be able to maintain his composure. And Krishna was looking so beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. It is said Krishna in Braj, of course, at that time, it is said one day Kamadev, Cupid, Madan, he came to Braj to see Krishna. And Kamadev is said to be extremely beautiful. Nowadays we show that heart, and through the heart there's an arrow going through. That actually comes from the idea of Kamadev, because Kamadev actually shoots an arrow. What kind of arrow? Not an arrow with an iron tip, but a pushpa ban, the ban of love. Pierces the heart of the living entities with infatuation and lust. But he's extremely beautiful. Nobody can resist if they see Kamadev. Only Lord Shiva can resist him. Nobody else. So Kamadev, when he went to Braj, it is said when Kamadev saw Krishna, Kamadev fainted because of the extreme beauty of Krishna. Kamadev fainted by seeing Krishna's beauty. So we cannot even imagine. Yeah, if Kamadev can faint, what can we speak about ourselves? So Krishna and the gopis are, of course, the beauty of the gopis is said to be many, many times more than even the topmost goddesses in the higher planets. So it was such a perfect environment. And Krishna was performing these beautiful sports of love with the gopis, dancing and singing. And as he was dancing, you can see behind me, Krishna and the gopis are dancing, but there's something very wonderful about it. Because you can see many gopis, but you can see Krishna amongst all the gopis. What Krishna did was, he expanded and was there personally with every gopi. And it is said, as he was dancing with each and every gopi was thinking that Krishna is only with me. Because the gopi could not see Krishna with any other gopi. She was thinking, oh, all other gopis are simply dancing, but Krishna is dancing with me. So Krishna made each and every gopi feel so special that I am there fully and wholly with you. There is nobody that I love more than you. And this is something very amazing. See, in this world, something very amazing and worth reflecting on. I'm taking a few points because these are relevant for us to understand. Just see, in this world, no matter how much we love a person, every person in this world is shared across so many relationships, isn't it? Who can give us his full time and full attention always? Nobody. Yes, correct. And the parents always complain that as soon as my son gets married, I have lost half of him, at least, if not full. Yeah, because then the time and the attention is spread. After children, it is further divided. When he grows in profession, further divided. So in material world, relationships are like that. But Krishna being unlimited, he has the ability to unlimitedly reciprocate with each individual. He can be so fully with each individual that an individual feels that he is fully with him. That's Krishna's amazing characteristic. And that's how each of the gopis felt. And they felt so special. Krishna loves making his devotees feel very, very special. Actually, Krishna enjoys giving happiness to his devotees. This is very amazing. Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. That is his most, for the devotees, that is his most cherishable quality for us. Of course, he has so many other qualities, but for us, his Bhakta Vatsalata is extremely, extremely affectionate. We cannot even imagine how affectionate. Even though he's the topmost of the topmost, he's extremely affectionate to his devotees. And he's extremely affectionate not just to the fully pure devotees, but anybody who approaches him even a little bit, Krishna becomes so affectionate. Sometimes in our lives, we may not be able to perceive it. But sometimes when Krishna allows us to perceive it, we'll be amazed. We'll be shocked how intimately Krishna is being affectionate to us. Sometimes it is shocking. Sometimes it is shocking to the point of embarrassment. Krishna, why you are doing this for me? You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why you have to do something like this for me? You don't have to do. Sometimes a devotee feels like that. But the Lord enjoys it, just like for Arjun. He took the position of a driver. He didn't mind even being kicked. That is Krishna's nature. That's why it's so sweet. That's why when we talk about surrendering to Krishna, we should understand. Sometimes people think, oh, surrendering to God, I have to be a slave for the rest of eternity, such a miserable life. No. It is so sweet. It is so beautiful. It is so wonderful. Because when you surrender to God, you know what happens? God becomes your servant. That is what scriptures explain. It's very sweet. And that is what love is about, right? Love is when both are trying to serve each other. This is not a surrender where one person is ruling and the other person is lying at his feet. Of course, the devotee never wants that Krishna should serve him. But that is Krishna's nature, what to do. Of course, we don't become Krishna's devotee. Okay, I'll become Krishna's devotee, then Krishna will become my servant. If you think like that, then we will never actually become a devotee, because that is not what it means to be a devotee. Yeah, so just a warning, please don't think like that. This is just to highlight Krishna's nature. Devotee never likes that Krishna serves him. And that's why the devotee sometimes becomes upset when Krishna serves him. Because that's not what he wants. So the gopis, they feel so special. Oh, Krishna is fully with me, exclusively with me, is so wonderful. A little bit in their heart, they felt, he's not with so many exalted gopis, but he's fully with me. Maybe there is something little bit special about me. There was this spiritual pride, not a material pride, a slight spiritual pride. Oh, wow, there must be something special about me. So scriptures say Krishna can tolerate everything else except pride. So as soon as the gopis thought like that, Krishna disappeared from the scene, from amongst all the gopis. Again, another wonderful lesson. One must always maintain a mood of humble servant to be able to keep Krishna's association. Otherwise, Krishna will disappear. Of course, for us, first we have to make him appear, then only he can disappear. But uh, we are not even at the point of appearance. But nonetheless, so we understand. Even if we want him to appear, we have to become like that. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. When we chant like that in a humble state of mind, thinking ourselves, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayo ho das das dasanudas. That's a very sweet and simple, but not so easy formula for attracting the Lord's mercy. So anyway, we don't have much time, so I'm going to just quickly go through a few points. So it is said the Lord disappeared from the scene, and the gopis were, you can imagine, right, from the heights of ecstasy of Krishna's association. Suddenly the Lord disappears. They swung on the other side in separation. Of course, like what I mentioned earlier, even that separation is a type of ecstasy. But that's a very different kind of a feeling. So they were all searching for Krishna, running all through the forest. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? But they couldn't find him. There are a lot of details in the story. I will not go through that now. But it is said finally, they all realized that even though Krishna disappeared from the scene, finally he went only with one gopi. And he spent time with her. Why? Because she was the topmost. Anaya Aradita Nunam. Who was that? She who served Krishna the best. She who was the best devotee. Who's that? Anaya Aradita. Who's that Aradita? Radha. Aradita. Srimati Radharani. That's the only place where Srimati Radharani's name is indirectly mentioned by Shukadeva Goswami. So I'm not going to go into that detail. The Lord actually manifested a four-armed form, and then the gopis came. So there are a lot of details in this pastime. We don't have time for that. So you can read in Krishna book. The Ras Leela is described very nicely in the Krishna book. You can read there. It's very beautiful. So the Lord actually, in the forest at one point, since I mentioned and raised your curiosity, I'll just briefly mention. The Lord stood, Krishna transformed himself temporarily into a four-armed form of Narayan. And the gopis were running around the forest looking for Krishna, and they came to this form of Narayan. Now, normally, see, the gopis never thought of Krishna as God. They thought of Krishna as Krishna, my Krishna. So when they saw Narayan, of course, they know Narayan is God. Of course, they offered him respect. Normally, we'll be so excited. Oh, I saw God, I saw God. We will forget all other things that we were doing. But they were so attached to Krishna. When they saw Narayan, they offered him obeisances and asked him, did you see Krishna? Where did he go? Left, right, this way, that way. And Narayan actually pointed in one direction. They all ran away that direction, searching for Krishna. But the scriptures say then Radharani came there, searching. And when she saw Narayan, because her love for Krishna is so intense, so intense, so intense. It is said because that form was not actually Narayan, it was Krishna disguised as Narayan. Krishna could not hold the form of Narayan. His two arms, the two extra arms, melted away. And he had to come back to the form of Krishna. By force, he couldn't retain, even though he wanted, he couldn't retain his form. And Radharani was so happy to see Krishna. And it is said, Krishna then carried Radharani from there and went in another direction of the forest. And that is when the gopis eventually realize, oh, Krishna, you see, there are two footprints here, and then one set of footprints are missing. That means Krishna carried away this very special gopi. And they are, having sweet pastimes. She must be the topmost. Anyway, to cut a long story short, again, eventually Krishna manifested again in front of the gopis. And there is a very beautiful reason for it. It is said all these gopis, when they couldn't find Krishna, they all went back to Bamsi Bhat, where they originally met Krishna. And there they were so maddened by separation from Krishna that they were loudly chanting his holy names and talking about his pastimes and enacting his pastimes. In that way, they were doing Sankirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama. Great humility. And they were crying out Krishna's names, remembering his pastimes. And Krishna cannot resist this. This is one thing Krishna cannot resist. If you call out his names with love and you cry out for him in separation, Krishna must come. He cannot resist. Finally, Krishna appears. And then there is another very beautiful song, the Gopi Gita, in this context. And finally, the Lord appears. There are many beautiful verses. You should read this. It's very sweet. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi viriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam shrimadatam vigrinanti ye bhuridajana. Oh Krishna, just to hear and chant your glories is the topmost of all spiritual activities. And those who are spreading your message by chanting and singing your glories, they are the most munificent welfare workers in this world. There's no greater service than that. Actually, that's what Krishna says also in the Gita, right? Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakte shobhidasyati bhakti mai param krutva mame vaishyatya samsaya. Those who spread my glories amongst my devotees, they are extremely dear to me and they will attain me without fail. So the gopis are singing like this, remembering the Lord, and the Lord appears. And then when the gopis ask him, why did you treat us like this? We are your devotees. Why you abandoned us and went away? It's a very beautiful conversation. We don't have time to go into the details, but the conclusion is Krishna tells the gopis that, do you know why I actually went away? Not that I became angry with you, upset with you. The real reason I went away from you was simply to increase your love for me. To increase your love for me. See, this is the natural consequence when Krishna is away. The love of the gopis increases. When the object of love is beyond the sight, the love increases. So Krishna said, I just wanted to increase your love. So as a service to you, I did this. Not that I wanted to cause you pain. Also another very beautiful lesson for us. Sometimes we wonder why Krishna is not manifesting. Why he's not manifesting because we have not yet reached that level of love. If Krishna is intensifying the love even of the gopis who have so much love, what to speak of us? We have a long way to go. So separation is not always bad. As long as we maintain our connection with Krishna through hearing and chanting, that's how we should maintain our connection at our level. We maintain our connection with the Lord by chanting His holy names, by reading the Bhagavad. We find Him in the pages of the Bhagavad. We find Him in the association of devotees. We find Him in His deity form. We can relish Him in the form of His prasad. And we can remain in constant contact with Him by chanting His holy names and being absorbed in the sound of His names. In Sankirtan, through all these means, we can always maintain our connection with Him in a mood of separation. And that mood of separation is also very, very purifying. And that actually increases our love for the Lord. So it is said this pastime, and after this conversation, of course, the Lord continued his beautiful pastimes of dancing, singing, and it went on and on and on. Externally for one night of Braj, but it is said within that one night of Braj, Krishna fitted one day of Brahma. Which means that one night of Braj lasted for 4.32 billion years. So for over 4 billion years, Krishna and the gopis, without getting tired, or even if they got tired, because in the last letter it said for some time they also got tired and they sported in the water and they had some nice refreshments and again they carried on. That much time. Of course, in the external world, it seemed like everything was still in order, but Krishna fitted one night of Brahma within the night of the performance of the Ras Leela. Very, very special pastime. Is the greatest celebration of love. And this is our ultimate aspiration. Be a servant. That's why we want to simply become a servant of the gopis. Gopi Bhartuhur Padakamalayur Das Anudas, the servant of the servant of the servants of the gopis are the Manjaris. And the aspiration of the Gaudiya Parampara is to become the servants of the Manjaris, who are the handmaidens of the gopis. Anyway, that's a very elaborate topic. We'll not go much into that. But that is briefly about this beautiful occasion. So it is said on this night, it is said it is nice because at night Krishna is dancing with the gopis. It is said, especially in Braj, what they do is, because Krishna performs this Ras Leela in Braj. In Braj, all the Brajvasis will cook sweet rice and they will keep the sweet rice on top of their terrace of their homes, respective homes. Why? Because Krishna and the gopis will be dancing and flying through the skies. And as they are playing and flying around, performing their ras, they will come and Krishna will pick some sweet rice, put it into Radharani's mouth. Another gopi will come and put it into Krishna's mouth. Like that, they eat all the sweet rice all over. So in the next day morning, they take it as Mahaprasad. So this is not, of course, this is done especially in Braj, but it is also done many other places. We can also do. Of course, in many condominiums, it is difficult. You cannot go to the terrace. But anyway, at least we can keep in the altar, if not, in the balcony. Yeah. if it's kept in the balcony, we don't know who else will come and eat it. So anyway, so that is what is traditionally done. So also it's a very beautiful night. In India, this night is also known as the Kojagiri night, Kojagiri Purnima, the most beautiful night. But I have seen and observed, just one last point before we move on to the next topic. I have seen and observed that what has often happened nowadays is people celebrate the Sharad Purnima, the Kojagiri night. They have the beautiful night, they have singing, they have dancing, they have sweet rice. So there is no Krishna. You understand what I'm saying? Since people just come together to just have a good time and Krishna is kept on the side. So this is not what we are looking for. This is the difference between the mood of the gopis and the mood of the materialistic people. The mood of the materialistic people is to enjoy the Sharad Purnima with sweet rice and have a good time by singing and dancing. The mood of the gopis was, oh, it is such a perfect time to serve Krishna and please Krishna. Krishna was the center. Of course, they still enjoyed the sweet rice, they still enjoyed the night, they still sang, they still danced, but Krishna was in the center. Because the nature of the soul is when the soul works for Krishna's pleasure, automatically the soul experiences pleasure. That is the science of devotion. We may think that, oh, I'm sacrificing. If I sacrifice for Krishna, what will I get? But like the scriptures say, when we water the root of the tree, automatically the tree becomes nourished. And when the tree becomes nourished, each and every twig, leaf, branch, everything gets nourished. Similarly, when we please Krishna, the soul automatically will become full of bliss. That is the beauty. That is the secret. That is why we should never think that when I serve Krishna, when I surrender to Krishna, I will be the loser in any way. Okay. So anyway, we have shot over for this topic. So I hope with this, you have been able to get some glimpse. So this is very sweet meditation. So let us pray to their lordships, Shri Radha Krishna, the gopis, that we may learn this selfless mood of surrender with their blessings and make some progress in that direction. And we may also become free from all our materialistic desires and genuinely try to become a servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis. Gopi Bhartur Padakamallayor Das 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 Anudas. So Sharad Purnima leads us, so is a perfect opening for the month of Kartik, isn't it? From tomorrow onwards, we will have the month of Kartik, which is the month of Srimati Radharani, is also known as the month of Urja, the month of Srimati Radharani. It's like Purushottam is the month of Krishna. Kartik, even though we say Damodar, actually it is the month of Radharani. It is the month of devotion. Krishna is the Ashraya Vigraha, is the supreme shelter for all the devotees. But the abode of devotion is Radharani. If we want devotion to Krishna, you have to go to Radharani because she's the one who gives. She's the reservoir of devotion. That's why she is Radha. Anaya Aradita. She who knows how to worship and serve Krishna perfectly. In fact, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding, we say that ultimately all living entities are getting devotion from Srimati Radharani and they're all servants of the servants of Radharani. Radharani alone knows perfectly how to serve Krishna. And we are all her assistants. And that is our aspiration. So this month of Kartik, the month of Damodar, is very special because in this month, the Lord has given a very special benediction. And the special benediction is even if we perform a little bit of devotional service, whatever devotional service we do, we get 100 times more benefit. 100 times. So one class you attend, you get the benefit of attending 100 classes. One round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra you chant, you get the benefit of chanting 100 rounds. You give donation to Krishna, you offer Naivedya to Krishna, you do Aarti for Krishna, you give donation to the Lord or the devotees, any form of service. One, the benefit is 100 times over and the benefit comes more quickly as well. The Lord reciprocates very quickly to any service that is performed in Damodar. It's like a big sale. Yeah. You see, sometimes some of these big brands, they have very expensive clothing. And many of us will normally not go into those showrooms. Why? Because it's very expensive. One shirt, 500 ringgit, 600 ringgit, 1000 ringgit. But suddenly they put a board outside in this month, 90% discount, 95% discount. So what costed 500 now, in 40 ringgit you can get. So we'll all get excited. There'll be a big line outside. Because everybody wants the brand, but not everybody could afford to pay the price. But now it has become affordable. It has become easier to access something which is very invaluable. So Krishna in this way is actually promoting this highest attainment by giving it at a very low price during this time. So those who are intelligent, they try to make maximum use of this opportunity. So scriptures say that one should make the best of this opportunity by doing whatever devotional service one can. It is said even by little devotional service, and especially in this month, it is said that one should worship the form of the Lord in the form of Damodara. Damodar especially represents the Lord who has been conquered by the love of his devotee. Remember, we spoke about the Bhakta Vatsalata of Krishna. Damodar represents the Bhakta Vatsalata, that Lord who is Ajita, who can never be conquered, becomes conquered by what? Not by the ordinary rope, not by a rope made of cloth or nylon or iron or whatever, but by the rope of love of Mother Yashoda. He's bound by love. Dama Udara, tied around his waist. You can't tie the Lord. Only the devotee who has love can tie the Lord. The Lord becomes tied. The Lord feels conquered. The Lord feels helpless. Even though He's all powerful, He's unable to sometimes circumvent or go over the desire of His devotee. It's very amazing, isn't it? Very amazing. If you think about it deeply, it's so amazing. The Lord is so unlimited, but that unlimited Lord can be captured by this tiny, infinitesimal Jiva who has love. Why? Because that love is coming from Radharani. That love of Radharani is so strong, is so powerful. Even when it is coming through us, it is originally coming from Radharani. And Krishna cannot resist it. It's so attractive that even a drop of that love, the ocean of love, is overwhelming for Krishna. So it is said, even a little bit of devotional service done will bear great effect. And especially like what we mentioned, the Lord should be worshipped in the form of Damodara. There's this beautiful pastime of Damodara. Tomorrow, Sulnas Jayapataka Maharaj will be speaking about this a bit. So I'm not going to be, we will hear from him even better. He'll be speaking tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll come to that. What is going to happen tomorrow? Briefly, I'll come to that. But briefly, the pastime is there where Krishna steals butter and Mother Yashoda captures Krishna. After much effort, after running after him, finally she catches. Of course, Krishna allows himself to be caught, and then she tries to tie Krishna around the waist to try to punish him, trying to tie him to the wooden grinding mortar. But Krishna is unable to be tied, no matter how hard Mother Yashoda tries. But finally, when she surrenders helplessly in front of Krishna, oh Krishna, I cannot tie you. I give up. I am helpless. Krishna finally allows himself to be tied by Mother Yashoda. This is most amazing. The Devatas in the sky are amazed at how Krishna is running away from fear from Mother Yashoda and how he was finally tied by Mother Yashoda. Who can do this? Because Yashoda is not that she's very powerful. She's an ordinary, from an external perspective, she is seemingly an ordinary village woman. What is Yashoda in front of Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kumbhakarna, and so many powerful demons whom the Lord easily killed? She was able to tie the Lord. So this is the victory of the Lord's love over the Lord, and that form of the Lord is being worshipped. The Lord as Bhakta Vatsal, the form of Damodara, and it is said one should worship this form of the Lord by offering a ghee lamb. Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Dhamne Tvadiyodara Yatha Vishwasya Dham. Namo Radhikayai Tvadiya Priyayai. Namo Nantalilaya Devaya. So one should worship. When one is offering the lamp, actually what one is doing is this lamp is representing our heart. It's actually offering our heart to the Lord. Yeah, Mama Mandire Raho Nishidine, Mama Mana Mandire Raho Nishidine, Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari. Beautiful song which says Bhakti Priti Mala Chandan Tumi Niyo He Niyo Chito Nandan. A very beautiful song where it is said that I am offering the lamp of love. So that is what we want to offer. The ghee lamp is supposed to represent our heart of love. So we offer it 7 times around a beautiful form of the Lord. And especially in the scriptures, it is recommended that one should sing the Damodara Ashtaka prayers. These are beautiful prayers written by Satyavrata Muni, mentioned in the Padma Puran. So one should try to sing. The song is readily available on the net. I will later post links on our WhatsApp groups for some of these things. I was wanting to do it earlier today, but somehow I didn't end up doing it. Maybe somebody can help me post all these things. And Anita Mataji, can you help? Just post some of these links, the Damodar Ashtak, yeah, the song with the translation. Just post the link to the groups. Yeah, one should sing. If one is struggling to sing, one can just play in the background and try to sing along. There is a recording available. And every day, at least once, if not twice, if you can do twice, good. Best is the whole family comes together and does for Lord Damodar. So picture of Lord Damodar, I think many of you have. If you do not, you can just type on Google Damodar and you will see his picture. So then you can print it and put it in your altar. Also, we recommend that devotees come together. Now, of course, at this time, it is not possible to have Damodar program in the traditional sense, how like we would come together in different devotees' homes and do. But what we suggest is it'll be good if at least on Zoom also some of you, just call your friends and relatives and maybe also a few devotees and observe a Damodar Ashtaka, speak 15 minutes about the Lord and just offer lamps online. That's also nice. And in that way, you will also get a lot of benefit, because when we connect others to the Lord, that's also a very great seva. It will also be nice. If you need any help in that, let me know. And I can try to see how I can help you. So I strongly encourage all of you to do that. Also, every day, please make sure that you do that. It is said simply by offering a lamp to Lord Damodar in this month. It is said in half a blinking of the eye, millions of sins are destroyed. So even with little seva, simply by offering a lamp, millions of sins from so many lifetimes are destroyed, and one can develop devotion for the Lord very, very easily. So this month is considered very, very powerful. And many references are there in the scriptures. We'll try to post those references to the scriptural verses also. Santanam Prabhu, can you look that up and post to us all the various scriptural references?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
I will post.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen just to demonstrate to you how this is observed for those who are very new. I think most of you know already, as far as I can see. So I don't, probably very few who are not aware. But nonetheless, I also posted a link on, there's a very nice link which ISKCON Congregational Development Ministry has come up with, the e-Aarti. So I was discussing with one of my god brothers to get that up, and we managed to put it together and just launched it yesterday. So this is, of course, ideally we want to offer a ghee lamp at home. Yeah, so please don't try to do this shortcut where you can offer a ghee lamp. But this is more of, in that situation where others are not able to offer for whatever reason. Yeah, so this is another way. So I just want to show to you, let me see. This is for the sake of those. Okay, let me do a screen share. Okay, I hope you can see the screen. Yeah, so this is iskoncongregation.com e-Aarti. Yeah, so this is the picture of Lord Damodar. For those who have not seen, there is a Damodar Ashtaka audio here, so you can play. Can you hear the audio as well?
No, Prabhuji.
No, can't hear it.
Sorry, no, is it? You can't?
Yes, we can't. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, Prabhuji, we can't hear it.
Okay, fine. Never mind. Okay, so when you go to the page, I'll post this link in the chat later. Yeah, I posted this in the WhatsApp group anyway. Where's the chat? Sorry, so that I don't forget. Okay, posted this link. Yeah, so in this one, actually, you can see there's a lamp, there are flowers, there's tulsi, there is agarbatti, there is conch, there is a bell. So it's very simple. Of course, we are mainly interested in the lamp. Yeah, so just for demo, this you can actually take a mouse and then you can move it around. Yeah, can move the lamp around. So this is just to demonstrate how to offer the lamp. Yeah. This is an e-lamp, but of course we hope that whenever possible you will do an actual lamp. Yeah. So we offer the lamp at least 7 times around the Lord like this, clockwise, as we sing the Damodara Ashtaka song. Yeah, 7 times. Now there are some videos which show a slightly different method. What they show is 4 times on the feet, 2 times around the waist, 3 times around the face, and then 7 times around the Lord. That is also fine because that is what we do in the Aarti typically. Yeah. But as far as the scriptures say for Damodar prayer, it is okay to just offer 7 times around as well. Just to keep it simple. Yeah. Of course, it's good. You can ring the bell. There's the bell if you want to ring the bell. Here you cannot hear. Otherwise, I would have shown you. As soon as you ring the bell, you click on the bell, you can actually hear the sound of the bell. When you click on the conch, you can hear the sound of the conch. Here you can also offer the flowers to the Lord. I kept the flowers, the tulsi at the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's nice, of course. It is, it's a bit. Of course, we should aim to offer tulsi and flowers actually. But anyway, there will be situations where we may not always be able to do. There will be situations online sometimes where we may not always be able to do with all the ingredients. So this is another option. Like what we said, ultimately, what is important is that we cultivate the mood of right devotion. And when we offer the lamp, ultimately we are offering our love. So even if we offer a ghee lamp and there is no love, Krishna is not interested in the ghee or the lamp. Yeah? And if we offer with love, then even if you offer a e-lamp, Krishna will accept. Yeah. But again, try to offer the lamp as far as possible. Yeah. So this is a page. This is just for your information. So it's a handy tool. So if you want to, share widely with your friends, relatives, whoever you think, the other thing that can be done is they can come here, they can play the song, but the lamp they can actually offer their hand directly to this picture of the Lord also. That's another thing that can be done. Yeah. So these are just some suggestions and ideas. Okay. So we're just past 10. So very quickly to conclude. So we will post some of this information on the glories of the month, but as like what I said, this is a wonderful opportunity to increase our devotion and make rapid progress. And it's also a good month to increase our austerities, just like the month of Purushottam. So if you want to increase your devotional activities, do additional vratas of any sort is also a good option. Typically, devotees go to Vrindavan at this time, but of course, in the current situation, it's not possible physically to go. So there are some e-yatras going on. So some of us have joined some online yatras. So we'll be seeing Vrindavan remotely and hearing devotees from Vrindavan live. So those of you want to do that, you can do that as well. So that's also nice and wonderful. So I'm going to take a pause here. So just briefly, 2-3 minutes more. So tomorrow, like what I mentioned the last time, I've already posted the details. We are about to do the lamp offering remotely. So what will be happening is I spoke to the regional secretary a couple of days ago. He told that what will be happening is His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj will be leading this activity. So he will be actually connecting from Mayapur, and he'll be addressing all the devotees for probably 10-15 minutes. I think the function begins, I think at 7:45, that's the time for Malaysia. That's what is mentioned. So 7:45 means 5:15 p.m. for those who are in India. So, but we request all the devotees to try to connect 10-15 minutes earlier. Just connect on Zoom. Yeah, because if the Zoom connections get all used up, you may not be able to log in and become a part of this history making. So please log in time. Like what I mentioned, the request is each family member logs in from his own device. Again, all you need is the Zoom ID. You don't need a password. So you can join in. They have kept it open for anybody to join. So you can feel free to also circulate this to anybody else who would like to participate towards the making of this history. So please do that. So each of the family member, please join. Each family member keep with them one lamp with a wick ready and something ready to light it. Of course, your lighter you can share amongst your family members if you wish. So after speaking, after Mara speaking, then they will actually give us darshan of Lord Damodar from Kuala Lumpur, from Jagannath Mandir. There will be a nice Yashoda Damodar Murti and decoration, and they'll do a live broadcast. And then Damodar Ashtaka will be sung. And we can, from our respective homes, as we are taking darshan on the screen, we can offer the lamp and sing together. Yeah, that's basically how it is going to be. So you don't have to bring your Damodar picture and all these things, nor do you have to do this ERT that I just showed you. This is just for your information, yeah, as additional tools. So it will be like we are in the temple and offering, but just that we'll now be seeing the deities remotely. Okay. Any questions about either tomorrow or any questions about what we discussed today? So is everyone going to participate? Any yes, Santanam Prabhu, you'll be joining.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tomorrow.
Yes, all of you. Yeah, Pratima Mataji.
Join.
Yeah. Please make sure all your family members also join, especially your children. Yes. Yeah, Roy, please join also. Amit, with your family. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So everyone. And if you have any questions, let me know. So what we will do is, I'll send a WhatsApp message probably half an hour earlier, just to remind all of you again. And I hope I don't have to do multiple reminders. So please do connect. And if you have other groups where you think devotees or your friends or well-wishers, may want to join this event, yeah, please pass on the messages. Okay, anybody wants to say anything, add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, the e-offering Prabhu, the incense doesn't work, is it? Because I
Right.
tried it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now it doesn't work. We are trying to fix it.
Oh, okay.
So I've told them today it'll probably take a couple of days.
It was very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we thank those who made it. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all very much. Yeah. Sorry. Anybody else wants to say anything? Okay. If nothing, then I will see you tomorrow. And like what I said, please make sure you do your lamp offerings at least once a day, if not twice. And if we also encourage you to come together in groups, yeah, and observe the Damodar functions. And if you need any help in that regard, please let me know as well. Okay. Other than that, apart from tomorrow, of course, we will continue our Bhagavatam class on Saturdays from the next week onwards. And of course, our Gita classes as well from Wednesday onwards. Okay. Thank you very much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.